Hello, and welcome back to another episode of my single-player survival world. I am the Survival Architect, and as you can see, I've finished the fog effect. That's 8 layers of black stained glass. I went a bit overboard on what I collected. I still have this much left, plus those 4 boxes. But today's episode is all about the base, and how we're going to start making this a functional place where we can move in very, very soon. To do that, we're going to slap something in this area here. Off camera, on camera I did this, but off camera, I've been over the back of this mountain breeding up some llamas. I now have a bunch of 12 slots, which is phenomenal. This is just a... Oh, great. Oh, no. Okay, I've got a bunch of 12 slots. These guys are sitting over here so they don't kill each other, but hopefully I'll be able to get some 15 soon. That guy escaped. He's a 9. Then, I've also cleaned up my chest monsters. There's been a few sitting around the place. The one over here isn't fully fixed yet, as you can see, but over here is all the resources that were just sitting in random shulker boxes. These are all full, or mostly full. There's a lot of items here. A lot of them came from over at the base, a lot of them from the base in here. But here are all the shulker boxes. We're going to need these today. We're going to need these and probably a lot more. So I'm going to pop into a creative world now and show you what I've been developing off camera and what we will be putting up in this area here. I've hopped over to a 1.17 only redstone testing world, which is why there's nothing else here. I've not done anything else in this version of Minecraft. This is a tileable shulker box loader. Ignore the blue wall I've just placed. Essentially, shulker box sits in here, items come through this hopper and are dropped into the shulker box. Now, right now I've just got these trap chests in here. That's for demonstration purposes. Now, the shulker box, when it's full, outputs a signal strength of 15 by a comparator, which powers this block and this redstone dust. Now, currently, this redstone dust has a power of 14, which you can see over on the right-hand side of the screen, which is what this redstone block does. Powers this to 15, which means this is 14. This will only go to a power of 15 when the shulker box is completely full. This observer will detect that update, locking this hopper, which this observer detects, powering this redstone dust, which powers both of these pistons. This normal piston here breaks the shulker box, pushing it into these hoppers and down the line. And this piston moves this observer up and down to first drop shulker boxes into this dispenser and then dispense them out the top here. So if I place, which one is it? This one, this shulker box here, here. These trap chests are flowing out into the shulker box and outputting, where are they? Here. And outputting a whole bunch of completely full shulker boxes ready for use. So that's this system. Now you can also slap things like item sorters on the top here, with item streams going across. So this is all of a sudden the perfect contraption for all the farms that are sitting in my base. So let's hop back onto the world and I will start constructing these above the base where I was pointing at in the opening clip. As I said in the redstone world, we're going to be building a shulker box loader for the farms that are over at the base in this episode. Now, I've got all of the resources together here. All the redstone bits are together in this shulker box, but really the biggest thing is the shulker boxes. There's about 200 shulker boxes here. That should be enough for now, but later on in this episode I'm probably going to have to go back to the end and get some more. So that's all the resources we need. Now, where we're going to build it is up here, up above the base in this area here. The idea is that the items, currently the only farms I've got are in there. Items get pumped up and somehow dropped into the structure that I'll build here, which then sorts the items into their respective shulker boxes and then dumps them out the bottom into a space that I've dug out that I think I showed in a previous episode that is down here, which is the future side of our storage room. Now, there's more shulker boxes here. This room isn't quite done yet. It's close, but I'd like to make it a bit bigger, a bit wider, and have more capability for being an incredibly grand space. So that's the plan for items that are produced in this world. I'm also considering figuring out a way to shut off the farms if I need to. Like this melon and pumpkin farm I've got has a whole bunch of items that just sit on the ground and cause a whole lot of lag, as you can probably see, because this entire system is full. So that's another project for another time, but that's the plan for today, is to get that Shulker Box loading system up and running up in this space above the base, and make this base a whole lot more functional and possible to use as a proper base with, well, a storage system. System's been finished. It wasn't too bad to build up. It's just the item dropping system that was a pain. If I go in here, oh come on. If I go in here, you can see that this is all a bit of a mess. So obviously, I've obviously showed you the main attraction, which is the Shulker Box Loaders. These hoppers are here just to transport more shulkers around. But this is really the difficult bit of this entire system. I want the items to drop through that hole in the fog, which will be eventually filled with black stained glass panes to make it look better. But I want it to drop through that fog there, in that position, which was quite annoying to do. And I eventually came up with this system. So the first thing I tried was to have just this whole space filled with black stained glass panes, and hoped that it would just glitch into the middle there and then drop straight down, or get pushed out of the blocks, or whatever it is that items do. I don't know what the name for it is. But what I found happened is about half of them actually went out to the side there, over that gap right there, or down there, and would end up getting stuck on the side. Tried a few more things, ended up here where the water, it gets dropped into the water, pushed across towards me, then, because it's got forward momentum going that way, hits the block, is stopped and then sinks straight down because that water isn't still, so it will sink. Drops out the bottom and always ends up in that hole. So if I put 40 sticky pistons, 58 hoppers, 64 pistons, and 59 chests in there, we'll wait a few moments, and I'll be willing to bet that that's what we'll get down the bottom. Now, obviously, the items aren't going to be dropping out the bottom this quickly because they're shulker boxes and not just random items that I've chucked in. But this is the whole point. So obviously this is, you can see it in action here. Water pushes it across and it always falls in the same block space, always the same place, which is perfect. It means I can predict where the item will be when it hits the ground, which is needed for a auto sorting system down on the ground, or just a sorting system for the shulker boxes. So now if I drop into this hole here, you can see there's a whole bunch of items there and nothing sitting up here. If we just go down, okay, that wasn't what I was trying to do. Pick them all up. I have 40 sticky pistons, 58 hoppers, 59 chests, and 64 normal pistons, which is exactly what we put into the dropper up here. So that's this system done. All I have to do now is build up the structure around it and the item sorters. So, third timelapse for this video is going to be building up a structure around this, so we don't just have a floating redstone monstrosity, but rather we have a relatively nice looking structure here that can then be tied into the eventual lore of the base. Let's hit it. Quick post-recording clip here before I show you the final product of that build. The time-lapse that I just recorded isn't importing into my editing software, so if anyone has any idea of how to fix your editing software, just chuck me a comment. That'd be great. But because I can't get it into my editing software, I'm just going to show you the final result and then continue on with the episode. So, quick editing note, and yeah, let's jump back into it. There's a structure around it now. This is a bit of a weird design process that I had this time. When I first put it together, I'm like, oh god, this looks awful. It's not working how I want it to. Nothing's really working right. But then I slapped in those side supports there, and it all of a sudden looked really, really good. And I think it was just the fact that you had a big white thing floating over the void, or simulated void, which was a weird look. So I don't know why I thought a half-finished project would look any good. But anyway, I've kind of gone for a futuristic laboratory kind of thing. Ignore that. That's my camera account crashing. A futuristic laboratory kind of vibe. And that obviously the point of it is to be studying this random void that's sitting in the mountains. And yes, there will be mountains in this area here, and there'll probably be something else in here. But now that that's been contained, I also want to show you the other purpose for these supports. They're fully hollow and available to accommodate, and can accommodate some water streams or item elevators of some description to transport items all the way up to the top. So now I can get all the items from the farms into the Shulker Box Loader, which is the whole point of having the Shulker Box Loader there in the first place. So that's kind of the structure around this this build completed. I'm not sure whether I should add in another 2 archways there and on the other side to have 4 in the cardinal directions, but you should let me know in the comments about about whether I should do that. I'm not 100% sure. I'm also not 100% sure whether I should leave that bottom open or not. I don't really know how I'd cap off the bottom and make it look good, but that's something for me to figure out. Or you can let me know in the comments how I can work on it. But that's the structure. I'm liking how it looks so far, and we'll move on to some other stuff in this episode. Can we just appreciate how this thing looks from over here? I really, really like it from this angle. I'm not sure, again, not sure whether I should cap off that bottom, but from here with it over this little dark void in the middle looks absolutely phenomenal. The other place it looks really, really great from is up here where I built that dragon egg monument, because you've just got this thing hanging over a void, which, I mean, I have constructed it, but it's just hanging out over the void for no apparent reason. Not yet, at least. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. And from down here, it also looks incredibly majestic. So I really like how this has turned out so far. Again, let me know whether I should add those 3rd and 4th support structures in, and I'll also play around with it in a creative world. So off camera, I've been continuing to breed these llamas. All these guys have 12 slots, but I just hopped on this llama here, put some chests on, and it's a 15 slot llama. The best llama you can get. So I'm going to hide him away, get another one, and we will then have a pack of 15 slot llamas. Now, that's only a 0.75% chance out of all the llamas that I've bred, so it's probably it's less than 1 in 100, which, you know, phenomenal. I could not have asked for a better result. With that, I am out of video time for today's episode. We've made a lot of progress, we finished the fog effect, and we slapped an entire thing in this area. I'm really liking how this base is coming together so far, and I'm kind of working through my head about kind of the story behind the base, as well as figuring out ways to make it tell a bit of a story. Because obviously right now it's not complete, but it's getting there, but it still needs to tell some sort of story. So, thank you all very much for watching. If you liked it, a like would be greatly appreciated. If you want to see more, I have a playlist on my channel. It's called the 117 Single Player Survival Series. You can check that out if you want to see more. And you can subscribe to my channel to make sure that you keep up with this world and future things that I do in it. I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.